Penuel the Black Pen. I'm going to keep it short. I know you guys were not going to forgive me if I didn't touch on it. But the current president of South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa, has reshuffled his cabinet after he delayed us last week, telling us that he was ill, and then later on being seen at an auction for Ankole cattle, hosting Ugandan candidates, or Ugandan visitors rather. One of the scandals that came out recently is that the South African Revenue Services, SARS, has said that the Sudanese businessman who claims that they paid $580,000 to buy cattle from the Phala farm, SARS says this money was never declared. Sadly, and not surprising, is that the presidential spokesperson has said, look, the onus to declare such monies doesn't lie with the president, it lies on the buyer. So because of that, the president is not involved and they must go after the Sudanese businessman and see how that goes. I think the South African Reserve Bank has also said the money wasn't declared. So that scandal is going to be ongoing and we'll see what happens from there. Josienzo Sputla Ramaphosa is going to be the new minister of the new Ministry of Electricity under the presidency. Usputla used to be the mayor of Tshwane and at some point was an MEC under the Gauteng provincial government as well. He's a civil engineer by training, and I think we'll probably learn more about him and the work he's going to be doing maybe with Eskom and the energy crisis as time goes on. Lindiwe Sisulu, who has been in parliament and cabinet since 1994 under Nelson Mandela, is officially no longer a minister. However, I do believe she will still remain a member of parliament. What we're not sure of currently is if she will remain a member of parliament or if she will resign. Natim Tetwa as well is no longer Minister of Sports, Arts and Culture. There's a new person that has been brought in there. Lindiwe Sisulu did trend last year, I believe, in 2022, basically saying there's something wrong with the constitution, speak about how certain people became overnight millionaires and billionaires and how they have sold out the people and what they represent for the people. So we don't know if it's some of those utterings and mutterings that have led to her basically being shuffled out. Natim Tetwa, and obviously she was the Minister of Tourism now, which was plagued with this mini scandal of people wanting, or SA Tourism wanting to spend a billion rand with Tottenham Hotspur with branding their kit. Natim Tetwa trended last year because he wanted to erect a 22 million rand very fancy flag, which a lot of South Africans were very angry about. That ended up not coming into fruition and he has been moved out. He's also known as the Minister of Condolences because whenever someone passes away, he's normally the first person to tweet the condolences. What else stands out? Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma, who had run against Cyril Ramaphosa back at the national conference, not now, but the one before this one in December, was the Minister of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs. In essence, every time with COVID and now with the energy crisis, she was mostly the spokesperson. She has now been moved to being the Minister of Women, Children and People with Disabilities, which to many people is seen as a demotion. We're also not sure how that's going to look as time goes by. New Minister of Tourism, by the way, is Patricia de Lille, very highly rated politician in the country. She used to be with the Pan-Africanist Congress, the PAC. At some point, she set up the Independent Party, the ID, and then at some point, she floor-crossed and joined the Democratic Alliance, where she became the mayor of Cape Town for a couple of years. And then she fought with the DA and Helen Zille and left. And then she formed a new party called the Good Party, which she currently leads. But she is heavily rated and respected. She was a Minister of Public Works. She is now the Minister of Tourism. I think Kumbutso Chabeni, who is seen as a young and very good progressive minister, is now the Minister of Presidency. There's a few other ministers that have been brought into space. There's a lady who's been brought in as Minister of Transport, where Ufile Mbalula was holding that position. He has been moved out of the cabinet. He's currently the ANC Secretary General. I'm not really sure if you can be ANC SG and be a minister, because Ace Magashule held that before, Gwede Mantashe held that before. So I'm not sure if it's so that he can focus on being an SG of the ANC that he's been moved out as Minister of Transport. He used to be Minister of Police at some point. I personally don't support Fikile Mbalula. I think he really behaves like a clown, especially on social media. But he's loved within the ANC as an SG now. Zizi Kodwa comes in as a minister as well, under Cyril Ramaphosa's cabinet. I think he used to be a minister in the presidency at some point now. I'm not too sure of the portfolio he's carrying. You guys will help me in the comments below. Big one is obviously Didi Mabuza, who had been asking to resign. He did eventually get to resign. Paul Mashatile was voted in as deputy president of the ANC at the December conference, where Didi refused to stand. He is officially sworn in as the deputy president of the country, so to speak. One of the things I want you guys to note is that we've got national elections next year in 2024. So these ministers that are coming in, including the Minister of Electricity, Usputla Ramaphosa, whose aunt is Gwen Ramaphosa, another senior politician, they just have a year under their portfolios. So please don't hold your breath and expect anything special to happen. It's not even a year, it's a couple of months until the next elections next year. The ANC, I can imagine, is going to be focusing on campaigning. Other political parties are going to be focusing on campaigning. So I think from June, July, maybe later on in the year, a lot of the work of government is going to be paused, and a lot of the focus is going to be going to campaign at grassroots level, at the branches, at the provinces, and trying to garner as much support as possible, especially an ANC whose support has been eroded with load shedding, with potholes, with a lot of people really hurtful with what's been happening. Cyril Ramaphosa constantly being seen as someone who focuses on business and his Ankole cattle, and having the presidency of South Africa as a side gig, a person who has said that he's not responsible for ending the load shedding and sorting out and providing electricity. Yet he's appointed a minister of electricity under the presidency, so a lot of people don't have confidence in Cyril, but seems the ANC does, because they voted for him again. We don't know if he bribed them again, because there were allegations of bribery at the last conference of the ANC. So we don't know if he bribed people again. We don't know if there are people that benefit again with Cyril being there. The guy looks like he doesn't want to be president anymore, but it looks like whoever tumaed him, when he said tumamina, they're saying stay there. We need you to stay there. But we also don't know if Cyril will be president next year, if Paul Mashatile, who was a Gauteng senior politician, who's known as being part of the Alex Mafia, along with people like Oli Buchang, Maile and others. We don't know if he might find himself stepping up and becoming president of the country. Didi Mabuza has obviously been missing in action ever since he took in office, but he was kind of a compromise candidate because he came from the RET faction of Ace Magashule and the guys. And what their plan is, him resigning now, is he resigning because of ill health, or is there something they're plotting with people like Ace Magashule? I remember speaking to Gayton McKenzie, and he said that if Cyril gets to be ANC president again, the RET guys are not going to wait for 5 years to remove Cyril and his people there. So does Didi Mabuza have a plan? He's known as the Black Cat, after being premier of Mpumalanga, where Andre Terreita, the outgoing Eskom CEO, said there's a lot of mafias that are running Eskom there. And Didi Mabuza involved there. Is he going to focus his energies back on Mpumalanga or something else in politics? Ace Magashule, is he going to take what's happening now lying down, or does he have a plot? People like Supra Maumapilo, some of the RET guys, Jacob Zuma, as old as he may be, are they sitting, plotting, planning something? Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma now, who's been supposedly demoted to women, children, and people with disabilities, is she going to be focusing her energy elsewhere? And what are we going to be seeing moving into the new year and election campaigning? I said I'm going to keep it short, and I think I'll stop there. If there's anything else that comes up, anything else that I think of, I'll probably discuss that with you guys as well. I do not believe in Cyril Ramaphosa as a leader of South Africa. I'm kind of looking forward to him resigning before the end of this year. I'm really, really hoping that'll happen. I don't have faith in the ANC government. Too many of them are focused on internal politics. Even Cyril's cabinet, which he took long to announce, has got a lot to do with internal politics in the ANC than serving the country. One of the conversations I had with a friend recently is, in a good progressive country, you want to see the most intelligent people running governments. That means kids who get 9 distinctions, kids who get distinctions in tertiary, kids who are engineers at the highest level, that cum laude their qualifications, kids that are brilliant at medicine, at law, people like Ageso Dalimpofu, etc. Those are the people you'd like to see in government running the country. By the way, Advocate Dalimpofu is currently cross-questioning Advocate Thulima Donsela, the previous public protector, regarding the current suspended public protector, Busisiwe Mkhwebane. We're going to see how all of those things are going to be happening. But yeah, man, that's the politics of the country. Hope you guys will have a great day, man. Love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Carry on working hard. Carry on fighting. We deserve a better country. We deserve better leadership. And better leadership starts in your family. You need to lead your elders by example, in your community, in your businesses, and elsewhere. Pen you on the black pen. Cheers.